All right. Now, I don't expect many people to be live with me. It is early in the morning, 9:30 a.m. my time, and I won't be too long. At least I don't plan on this being a long live stream. But I want to make it and hopefully get a response from the Boston. I don't even want a response. I just want to know if they're going to change their website after and if they hear this video. Will they change the content or remove it? Change the content or remove it. Very important stuff here. Now, before I get started, I want people to know that it is not all fun and games when you are a YouTuber, when you create content. No matter how large of a platform you have, if you create a lot of content, you're a content creator. And a lot of people are going to come and go, right? They're going to like you, then dislike you. They're going to be with you, then against you. The only thing you need to worry about is what you're doing, right? You most likely will carry on, and you will refer to a lot of people as, or in the past tense, like, hey, do you remember this person? Do you remember that person? They said this, they said that. They pointed this out, they pointed that out. And here online, the other content creators they're not my followers. Other content creators are not my disciples. I don't want people to look at them as that. These are people, are entities all unto themselves. Even though they may have been inspired to deal with the content from me, these are people with their own mind, and they should be taken as such, right? And they have their own life. I'm a single man with no kids. Some of these content creators are married with kids. So you can't expect them to really function online the way I would, or the way some of the rest of us would. You can't expect them to be as dedicated to uploading content or producing content as I am, or maybe some of us would be. This is pretty much just something we do in our spare time. You know, even though I'm single with no kids, I'm still sort of busy. I'm a busy man, but I find time to produce this content. And I could talk about anything. I could talk about something very degenerate. I could possibly encourage people to hurt themselves, right? I could be like these pit nutters, trying to encourage you to bring pit bulls around your babies. And again, no, I'm not going to do that. Now, I have several channels, and some people will view my political views as controversial, and they'll be like, you know what, I'm going to stop following this guy if he believes something like that. I firmly believe it's in this country's best interest to address the race problem. Racism is annoying. You know, I'm tired of dealing with it. I'm tired of hearing about it. I'm tired of the goofy articles and goofy reports. I'm sick of it. And I think this country should try to do something about it. And I think they should make a black state and a white state, all in the interest of peace, right? That way, all of the hostile lunatics who are, oh, I hate this, I hate that. Okay, well, go to your state. Go to your state. This would be a good move, in my opinion. A good show of that they're showing effort. Hey, we're trying to do something. We're trying to create a peaceful country. What should be top priority for this government is a peaceful country, right? Because I think it's being torn apart. Now I have that. I do support a lot of things politically. So don't be surprised. All I'm saying is don't be surprised if there are some people who are with me or sort of disappear, or who are against me. They may come out. It's happened before. It's going to happen to any and everybody who creates content. That's just part of the career. All right? But you don't worry about me. I'm going to be all right, because you know where I'm going to be. I'm going to be right here on this channel, calling out stuff like this, with my ear glued to the news, ready to pounce on each and every dog trainer, veterinarian, dog behaviorist that comes out pushing lies and breaking the law, breaking endangerment laws, okay, and just being sociopaths, terrorizing communities. I'm going to be here every time that's protected, every time it goes down, whatever. This is something that everybody in their spare time should speak out against. It's really that simple. Now, excuse me, I want to deal with this portion of the Boston Children's Hospital's website. They have a website. Now, Children's Hospital, I'm not sure what that is, but they're all over the country. So I don't know if they're all connected, you know, if it's one entity. It's just, because if you look up here, it says answers.childrenshospital.org. Okay, so I assume they have a bunch of branches, and this is just Boston's branch of the Children's Hospital. But this website has this portion in it. Scroll down. It's titled Answers, Your Destination for Kids' Health. Protect your kids from dog bites. Tips from the experts. Okay, what do experts say? I want to skip down here to this section titled, What Can I Do to Reduce My Dog's Aggression? And they say they want to give you some tips. This is from experts. Y'all have heard me say that dogs are born aggressive. They're born violent. And dog owners know it. And this training, all the training and tips they give you, is designed to try to train it away from its aggression, to train aggression out of them. A creature like that is too dangerous to call a pet. It comes naturally aggressive and dangerous and lethal. And you got to train that out of it. So I have to train it against its natural instincts. Why would you even try to do something that dumb? Like, that's stupid beyond comprehension. But it's happening. See, this is where I'm going to be here talking about this. This wacky, Twilight Zone. They said immediately chop its genitals off. Now, what does it sound like we're talking about here? Is this planet Earth? Does this not sound insane? You've heard what I've told you. These things are not what I've told you. You've discovered it. You've looked it up. You've done your research yourself. All of you have. These things are naturally violent and aggressive with an instinct to kill. And I've said these people know how dangerous these things are. You can't call these attacks accidents. That's the last thing you can call them. Don't buy into these people's fake show of being surprised. Oh, I never thought this could happen. Yes, you knew full well. That's why your experts tell you that as soon as you get one, chop its genitals off. Just to reduce its aggression? That is incriminating. This is incriminating. If I were in court and I was trying to prove that dogs are too dangerous to have in society, I'd show them this. I'd literally get up there and show them this. Right from the Children's Hospital. They do this all the time. So I got to cut his genital. You know, people, the dog lovers, they don't like to do that. They feel like it's cruelty. You know? How about we cut your genitals off? Do you generally think that's something that an organism wants to be done? But that's not animal cruelty? Okay, immediately do that. And they say socialize it with dogs and people in various situations. So bring it around people until it stops wanting to attack people. So that it understands that people are going to always be around. So you may as well stop wanting to attack them. Basically, that's what it is. I mean, you get a dog that just wants to attack people. And obviously, you're going to think, oh, it must not be used to people. It must think that people are going to hurt it. So let's bring it around people so that it sees that people don't want to harm it. You know, after it sees people walk by and maybe pet it and not try to hurt it, it'll understand, well, these people mean you no harm. That's a bad point to start at. You see, and because this is instinct, that's a dangerous game. It could revert back to its instinct at any moment. And that theory could be wrong. It may not think that people trying to hurt it. It may just want to attack people. Well, it does just want to attack people just to attack them. Just because it's their instinct to dominate. The only types of relationships a dog knows is either to be dominant or submissive. That's why so many dog owners use physical violence. They want to be the dominant in the dog's mind. And they don't want the dog to attack them. So they use physical violence with it. A lot of them do this. This is far too dangerous of a creature. And this is incriminating. This makes dogs sound very dangerous. It says train your dog with a nothing in life is free approach, which includes positive reinforcement and rewards, not punishment. Start puppy classes as soon as possible. So here you go with that new way of training. positive reinforcement only. The problem is the dog has an instinct to carry out negative reinforcement. The dogs use violence. That's a form of negative reinforcement. And it's part of its instinct. So if you don't use negative reinforcement, aggression, violence, then someday if it wants something, it might use negative reinforcement. And it might be emboldened to use it, seeing that you never use it. So it's going to view you as weak. It's going to view you as weak. And this is how a lot of these dog owners raise their dogs. Only using positive reinforcement. Another thing is that's going to create a dominant dog that thinks it's the alpha and the leader of the pack, making it more likely to attack others, right? People other than you. And we've seen a lot of dogs like that. There's no way to produce a harmless dog. It's impossible. The only thing you can do is sort of redirect who it channels its aggression to. You know? But raising it like this, I think, increases the chances that it will attack you, the owner. This is dangerous. And what does this have to do with kids? You hear a lot of stories of people being attacked and killed by their own dog. It's usually young women. It's usually women. And then you look at their social media and you see they raised it with love. Some of them come out and tell you, we were never aggressive, raised it from a puppy. And you raised it with love, and it attacked you. It must have saw you as weak. You never used negative reinforcement, something that it has the instinct to do, saw you as weak and eliminated you or tried to eliminate you. This is dangerous. What they're suggesting is dangerous. Now, I'm not sitting online giving dangerous advice, giving advice to people that will get them hurt. But somehow I'm the bad guy. IHD is the bad guy. I'm the bad guy, but I'm not the one doing this. Children's Hospital's the one doing this. I'd never tell somebody this. You crazy? Use positive reinforcement only. You better not bring no dog in your house. You want my advice? Do not acquire one at all. They say do not engage your puppy in aggressive play or tug of war games. Now this is another part of the con. So this is their way of suggesting that as long as you don't do this, then it will not sharpen its aggressive tendencies. Yes, it will. It'll do that if you simply give it a toy. It will engage in aggressive play. Biting, that's all it takes. They use their mouth and teeth more than anything. Soon as you throw them a toy, they're engaged in aggressive play and emulating their killing scenario, sharpening their killing skills, attack skills, and all that. So this is just worthless advice. And it's designed to give them an out. so that they could, if the dog attacks someone, they could say, well, I never trained it to be aggressive. You know, the owner can say, well, I never trained it to be aggressive. I've never done that. I never played tug of war games with it. Yeah, but so the dog chewed on your sofa, on your shoes. It practiced its killing skills that way. Or you gave it a toy. You gave it a bunch of toys. You gave it a bone. You gave it something where it practiced its killing skills. There you go. And look at this one. They say make the dog part of the family. Make sure it gets lots of exercise, is supervised, and visits the vet regularly. They said make the dog part of the family. Don't chain it up outside next to a doghouse like we used to do back in the day. Dog would be outside, chained up, and would have a doghouse. They're saying no. Keep it inside the house and treat it like a family member. And that's why most attacks happen in the house on a family member. And the next is visiting someone's house with a dog. There you go. It don't reduce aggression. It just redirects the attack to somebody in the house rather than somebody walking down the sidewalk. And that's so irresponsible for a hospital to give this kind of advice. Keep the dog inside the house and treat it like a family member. Despite the fact that sudden movements trigger aggression, can't look at it. It don't like you looking at it in the eyes. You tell me to bring it in the house? It don't like people getting too close to it or its food bowl. Don't like anybody touching it while it's sleeping. Don't pet it on the head. Don't stand over it, above it. Takes that as a threat. And you suggest people to bring it inside the house? Really? Boston Children's Hospital, I invited you to this live stream to ask you these questions about what you wrote on your website. This sounds crazy. What's going on here? Make it a part of the family. No thanks. Why? Because it's not a part of the family. It's not, literally. Based on blood, it's not. On top of that, it's not even human. Got animal tendency. Worse than animals. Bring it in the house. Okay. Keep your dog healthy because pain or sickness can trigger aggression. Okay, so there's another one. Add that to the list. You want me to bring it inside the house, huh? Even though as soon as it feels pain or gets sick, it wants to attack someone, and you want me to bring it inside the house? Treat it like a family member? This is a problem. This lacks too much logic. It cannot stand the test of time. This is fun. This is kind of fun. You know, being able to predict that something is not going to last. And then just waiting to see how long it's going to take them to either remove it or change it. This is not a real profession. Being no behaviorist, no veterinarian, It's too flawed. Now look at this next section. Why would a dog attack my child? The vast majority of dog bites, treats are in children. And this is a quote. It said, kids may unintentionally provoke a dog they feel comfortable with. They agree that children may not know how to read a dog they are comfortable with, or may approach unfamiliar dogs more readily. They may disturb dogs that are sleeping or eating. The kids might make loud noises. They might run away from the dog. They might approach the dog in a more threatening way. Hugs from above, for example. Or they may get into aggressive games with the dog. And they finish it by saying it's important to teach your kids to interact properly with both familiar and unfamiliar dogs. Now, this is in a portion with this title. They want to give you advice on how to protect your kids from dog attacks, from dog bites. And then they pretend as if a parent asked the question, well, why would a dog attack my child? You know? That's an interesting part of this article, that they would even include something like this, because they know they have to address it, and they tried to be brave. Like, oh yeah, let's go ahead and address it. You know, parents are going to wonder why the dog would even want to do this. But we can't say it's because the dog loves to attack living organisms, which is actually the truth. We can't say that dogs get off on attacking and killing smaller organisms, living organisms, which is the actual truth. We can't say that it's their natural instinct to exercise dominance through violence. That's what they do in dog packs, which is actually the truth. So we have to come up with a lie. We got to take the blame off the dog. Who are we going to blame? Well, we have to blame it on the kids. You know, we have to say that they unintentionally, we can, just say it's unintentionally provoke the dog because they feel so comfortable. Yeah. Then story agrees. Yeah, children, they may not know how to read a dog they're comfortable with. They don't read the warning signs. Or they may approach unfamiliar dogs more readily. Disturb them while they're sleeping or eating. Make loud noises. Dogs don't like loud noises. Never mind barking. Or they might run away. The dog thinks it's prey. It triggers its instincts. Or kids will approach dogs in more threatening ways. Let's get into it. Let's really dig into it and demonize the victims. Because only kids are attack victims. Between dogs and kids never attack the dogs. This is crazy stuff. This is crazy stuff right here. And then we look at the videos of these attacks and we don't see none of this. And I mean every single video. And there are a lot of them available online. You never see none of this. You see kids playing, not just video. When you get the reports, the news reports, each and every one of them, child playing in front yard, dog comes, attacks. Car door opens, dog runs out, runs across the street, attacks kid. Half the time, these kids don't even know the dog is around. And then when you do, most of them freeze. They don't do nothing. The dog comes up to them. I don't think I've ever seen or heard of an attack. The only attacks I've heard of where they say the child went up to the dog is when the child went up to the dog and the dog's owner was there too, with the dog on a leash. A couple stories, the child got permission. We just heard about a story where a woman volunteered, said, "Hey kids, come pet my dog." The dog attacked her. Every single story, it's an unprovoked attack. The parents ask, why does this happen? And you tell them this? Well, why can't we find this in the reports? Why can't we find what you've listed here on the film or in the reports? People are going to side with the truth. It's only a matter of time. I'm not exposing anyone. The media outlet is putting the truth out. The hospital's putting it out. I'm just pointing it out. You don't see it on the videos of these attacks, and you don't hear about it. Y'all remember all those elevator attacks that were going on in India? Those were on film. You clearly saw a child sitting in that elevator, not paying that dog no attention. Looked like the kid was intentionally trying to ignore it so that it wouldn't notice him. And that dog snaked around two adults and latched on to that child. Adults asking, why does this happen? And they say, it's your kid's fault. They unknowingly and unintentionally provoked it. And you subconsciously just accept it and believe it. Like, oh yeah. You know, in the dog's mind, it could have seen anything. Wicked stuff. That's why I call this cult demonic. That's demonic, people. That is dangerous, dangerous propaganda right there. Where their experts are not even telling the truth. And it's right there as plain as day that they're not telling the truth. And nobody's saying nothing. Nobody's... Nobody but us. Some fringe corner of the internet. It does not get more criminal than that. So we'll see if the Boston Children's Hospital changes their website. Yeah, we will see. What in the world? Shout out to everybody in the room. What are y'all doing up this early? Oh, man. This is too much. It's too much. So that concludes this live stream. I wanted to keep this short, as I said earlier. And I will hopefully want to hear from the Boston Children's Hospital. I think it's irrefutable that this is dangerous, dangerous information right here. You all going to eventually have to start telling the truth. Just like many dogs attack other smaller dogs, they attack kids as well. These are killers. They're killing machines. They kill just to kill, which is abnormal, even for animals. Kill and just leave carcasses, killing just to kill. It's the last type of creature you need to have inside your home, treating like a family member. All right? Shout out to everybody able to join me for this live stream. Kayamo, Mont, Communist, Moochie, big shout out to Moochie in the house, Jason, Shawnee Mack, my man Yusuf Mambo. I got that email from Yusuf. I will be back. I'll probably deal with that in a video. Shout out to Yusuf Mambo and Null in the house. Hope y'all have a fabulous Saturday. And I will be back. And I hope you all are able to join me as we continue with this crusade.